Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Luke Acree, who's the president of ReminderMedia, helping financial professionals stand out with personally branded lifestyle magazines. Luke, welcome to the program.
Mike, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. And I just want to jump right into what you guys do and how you do it. But before we do that, give us a little bit of your background and your entrepreneurial journey, because I know that you've got quite the storied past as far as coming into the industry that you serve. And then one of the questions I want to ask is, why do you focus on these branded magazines? Because that is such a unique approach to staying in touch with people.
Yeah, no, love it. So I'll try not to bore everybody, and I'll give you guys the 30,000-foot view. So I grew up in a family of 8 kids. I was homeschooled. So that's something unique about me. My dad's a pastor, was homeschooled, and all the way up to college. And in college, went to community college because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Ended up finding that I enjoyed computers, got a certificate in computer technology, then transferred into a 4-year university to do a software engineering degree. And in college, started my first company with my brother Dan. He is an unbelievable designer. And I started a business with him called Nextmark Design. We were doing websites for churches, small businesses. That was my first foray into sales, into marketing, doing some software engineering. At the same time I was doing that, I really got connected with a family member. He's actually my partner now at ReminderMedia. He's my uncle. And Steve had started ReminderMedia, our company today, about 18 years ago. And he was mentoring me as I was doing Nextmark Design. I did Nextmark Design for about 4 or 5 years, almost 5 years. And he had reached a point in his entrepreneurial journey that maybe a lot of you that are listening to this can have camaraderie with. You know, entrepreneurship is a lot of ups and downs. And he had just reached a point in his journey where he's a little bit burnt out, not sure what he was going to do next. And we decided to join forces. And that was about 12 years ago, almost at this time. And I just tell people, man, God's blessed us, man. We've grown it to about 300 employees. We'll do about $55 million in sales this year. We work with about 42,000 small business professionals a year. So it's been an amazing ride, a lot of still ups and downs, but I'm loving every second of it.
You know, you said something really interesting, and I'll just kind of dive right from this statement into what I had said originally, which is why branded lifestyle magazines. And you said you started off as a software engineer and building websites and doing marketing that way. Well, I don't know exactly your age, but you're not, 70 or 80. You're on the younger side of the equation. Why in the world would you, with a software engineering background, go to these things you can touch and feel and direct mail and magazines? Why would it not be the latest, greatest bot or Facebook advertising campaign? Because that's what we see these days, right?
Absolutely. And my fundamental belief is marketing has to be omnipresent, right? And so you really have to have marketing that encapsulates all things. And we can talk about that a little bit if you want. But I'll tell you specifically why the magazine has been a game changer. Because I believe that relationships are the currency of business.
Yeah.
Meaning everybody's heard the Zig Ziglar saying of know, like, and trust. You got to get people to know, like, and trust you in order to get business with you. What that ultimately states is you have to have a relationship with people. And the thing about doing the lifestyle magazines is we knew every business knew they had to stay in touch with their clients. I never have to sell a financial advisor. You have to stay in touch with your database. Everybody knows that. The question is not should you, it's just how. How do you do it effectively? And the pain point in the industry was this. You had 2 options. One is you could send what I call is kind of like a junk mailer, right? So you're sending out, maybe it's a flyer, maybe it's a postcard, maybe it's an email, right? And the reason why I call them junk mailer, it's not that they don't serve a purpose. It's just you've bought a car before, you've bought a piece of furniture before. When your car dealership sends you a postcard, what do you do with it? And most people just toss it.
Yep.
So that's one option that was out there for advisors. And then the second option was really the premium option, where you're sending your client a bottle of wine, you're sending them a gift basket, you're taking them out to dinner. And the issue with the premium side is, though it's impactful and effective, it's really hard to do consistently. I mean, how consistently can you send someone a bottle of wine or take them out to dinner? It doesn't scale very well. So there was this gap in the market that's basically you either send something that's not high quality or you send something that's really high quality but not cost effective and too time consuming. And so what we set out to do is, could we come up with a product that is perceived like a gift, perceived as high quality, people like it, they bring it into their home, they enjoy it, it triggers reciprocity in the client, but at the same time, it's cost effective enough to do at scale. And believe it or not, a coffee table publication is the idea that was generated out of that, a 48-page coffee table publication. The amazing thing about this is that it has been unbelievable over the last decade of doing this. When people receive this, they keep it for about 4 to 6 weeks in the home. They read it for about 44 minutes over those 4 to 6 weeks, which I always compare. I'm a Seinfeld fan, so I don't know if we have any Seinfeld fans out there, but the average Seinfeld episode, the average Seinfeld episode is 18 minutes long, right? So over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, your client is spending 2 Seinfeld worth of time with you in your brand.
Yeah.
And most importantly, what we teach our advisors to do, or any business, is you need ways to have conversations with your clients to strengthen the relationships that's out there. The magazine is the perfect reason to pick up the phone and call your clients, because maybe I'm your client, you've never talked to my wife, Megan. You can use it as a way to call Megan up. Hey, Megan, was thinking about you and Luke today. I just sent you my latest gift. I know I'm sending you American Lifestyle. I wanted to see if you enjoyed it. Hey, I don't know if you got a chance to check out that article on page 7, but it's awesome. I was reading that the other week. It allows you to have a conversation that's natural, it's non-salesy, and then from there, what do you deepen? You deepen that know, like, and trust factor, which ultimately responds in referrals or repeat business. That's where they get the business or ROI from.
And nothing against any other type of marketing, but what I appreciate about this is it really does it helps you to stand out by being marketing that stands out, like secretly, because it's not really marketing, right? Like I literally have Andrew there at your company. He sent me one of the demo magazines, and I've got one in my hand, and here's, it's custom branded with someone's name and contact and logo on the front, and it's American Lifestyle. And it's like, okay, where's the thing that says buy now, click? Nowhere. It's this nice professional lifestyle magazine. And the cool thing to me is the relationship that you mentioned. So many people feel like for instance, I've given seminars before where I go, okay, hey, raise your hands. How many people want to have happy clients? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, no, you want raving fans, because happy clients are just complacent. They're like, yeah, cool, that's fine. Yeah. Until something else better comes along. But I guarantee you this: when's the last time you picked up the phone or sent an email or sent a text to one of your colleagues or friends or family members and said, you have got to check out this refrigerator magnet I just got in the mail? No. Or I've got a guy. And nothing wrong with refrigerator magnets. There's a time and place for those things, but this magazine stands out. And the other thing you mentioned is shelf life. When you get those big postcards in the mailbox, now it's better than the email because email gets deleted, but it's a piece of mail you touch, and it does have shelf life. Now, not necessarily shelf, but coffee table life. So maybe you can come up with a new trademark phrase there, coffee table life.
Yeah, there you go. Well, what you're tapping into, what's interesting, I always teach people about raving fans, is like, how do you tactically create raving fans? Because we all want it. Yeah. You tactically create raving fans by doing the unexpected. Yeah. So if you think about getting a bad review, that is someone raving about you poorly. And why are they raving about you poorly? It's because they got an unexpected experience. Maybe it was at your restaurant, right? And the food wasn't quite up to par of what they thought. The serving wasn't good, whatever it is, right? They got something unexpected. They went and raved poorly. The same applies to people who rave about you positively. What happens is, what you have to do is, everybody expects you. Let's take financial advisors, for instance. Everybody expects you to be able to invest their money well. Everybody expects you to be able to give them the proper guidance, expects you to keep in touch with them.
That's not a competitive advantage.
Exactly. So when you do those things, even if you do them well, all you're doing is what they expected and are paying you to do in the first place. What you need to think is, how do I do things that are unexpected, that are outside the box? Because those things create memorable moments. And memorable moments are what people rave about. It's what people think about when they're referring you to their friend because you stuck inside their mind. This magazine, as corny as it might sound, it's just so different. People don't expect it. It's non-salesy. It's more gift-oriented. It's more relationship-driven. And so it just creates an opportunity for a memorable moment that you can capitalize on, and that's really what helps you stand out. There was a study done by Temple University, and Temple University partnered up with the U.S. Postal Service, and what they were trying to determine with the neuroscience is they were trying to determine what is more powerful, digital advertising or print advertising. And when they looked at the neuroscience, they're obviously looking at a couple different things. They're looking about how the human brain is responding to the different types of advertising. They're looking at how the eyeballs are going when they actually look at the ads. They actually even put sensors on the people, so how the people actually responded when they were physically feeling the print pieces. What they determined is that print advertising, the two places it really, really shined, is one, it was way faster for people to bring to memory than digital advertising, meaning all of the consumers who got print remembered the print ad way easier and way faster than they remembered digital ads that they saw. The second thing that the study revealed, which is powerful, is that the emotional response and emotional connection to print is so much stronger than digital. Why am I sharing this study? Like, how does this break down in practicality? The reason why I think print can work really effective in a marketing strategy today is if you use it as a way to spark engagement and stay top of mind with your database, because you're triggering that memorability, which is proven in the neuroscience, and you're triggering that emotional connection, which are the two things you want to drive referrals and repeat business.
We could probably take about the next 4.5 hours and dive in deep on what you just said. So what I want to do is dive in deep on one specific point, because I think that any financial professional or any business owner or entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, but anyone listening to that statement, you need to hear something really, really important. And it's one thing to stand out by using one of these custom branded magazines that has the study behind it, like you mentioned. Love that. But there is a missed opportunity if that is all you do. And here's what I am meaning by that. On your website, it's talking about, hey, you generate more referrals and repeat business. That's good. But I also know that you teach, don't just send us an Excel file with some names and yay, they're getting your magazine. You need to do something with that. And like you just gave in the example about making that phone call. Well, many times we don't like to make cold calls. Oh, so I'm not going to do that. But why don't you call your clients and just catch up? Well, I don't know what to say because I really want referrals. But now you have a reason, not an excuse, but a reason to call them to go, hey, just check it, just see if that magazine came out. Because you know what? There was a really cool article. Did you read the one about? And I think that right there is one thing I would like to ask is give us a little bit of your teaching behind what do you do once you now know your top clients or the ones that are on your recipient list are getting this magazine. What do you do then to maximize that, to make sure that you're getting those referrals and repeat business?
Yeah, I love that question. I would challenge everybody that the activity you have to do is the calling or a face-to-face touch point, right? Using your magazine as the reason to call. And there's two things that you want to accomplish on this. What I teach people practically is I teach them the FORD methodology. So I don't know if everyone's familiar with FORD or not, but FORD is an acronym that stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Dreams. So the activity that you should be doing is, let's say you send to your top 50 people. You should have a CRM, an Excel doc, something on those 50 people. And so, Mike, if you were one of my 50 people, I want to make sure, do I know about Mike's family? Do I know about his occupation, what's going on for his work, what's happening? Do I know about his recreation, his hobbies, what he's into? And do I know about his dreams, where he's going, what he's trying to achieve? If I know those 4 pillars on you, Mike, man, we have a really strong relationship. And I can tailor my communication to that. So part of my phone calls is to fill in the blanks of those 4 pillars. Because if I'm learning about what's happening in your family, you shared with me before we jumped on here, your daughter going on a tour in college for a choir tour, right? I can mark that in my CRM. I can use that. If there's an article on choirs in one of the magazines, I can bring that up next time I call you. That's strengthening the relationship you have. which is ultimately what's going to prevent the ACAPs from happening to you, the account transfers from happening, because they see you more as a friend than they do just a financial advisor. Then the second tactic that I teach is, after you call them up, after you've done that relationship building, then simply say to them, hey, I'm actually really looking to grow my business. I want to help more people in 2022. And not to be funny, Mike, man, if I could have clients just like you, it would be unbelievable. And I was wondering if you knew anybody, if you had any friends that I could introduce myself to. I'd love to send them this magazine. Yeah. They might not be needing my services right now, but I would love for you to connect me with them, because I just want to be available at the time they do need. And I would love to send this magazine to them. The reason why it works so well is because what happens is it's non-salesy. The magazine is non-salesy. It's not just about promoting your financial advising services, though you'll get there. It's an easy intro, and if you ask somebody to connect you to people versus refer you to people, they tend to give it way more. So that's two tactics I would give you in making those phone calls that will really help increase your ROI.
And I think I couldn't agree more, and I think that I've interviewed on my podcast before Bob Berg, who wrote The Go-Giver, Bill Cates, and I know you guys have had him on your podcast, and they agree with giving first, giving value, giving results in advance, give. Not, hey, who can you refer me to so I can have them transfer their 401k over to me? Or who can you refer me to so I can, because now it's all about me. But if you can turn the tables and go, hey, nice to connect with you, man. I just would love to work with more people like you. If you've enjoyed that magazine, who can I, just start sending it totally free. As you know, I'm not, it's no pressure. That then becomes the availability to give and serve and provide results in advance. And now one more phone call to make the introduction. Maybe then the next question is, oh, hey, Luke, can you shoot a quick email or a LinkedIn message and say, kind of give them the heads up that, you're allowing me to send it to you. Then that way they know who I am and what it is. And now the door is open for that phone call. I would even mention this just from my marketer's mind. I would say, if I were someone knowing that the next edition of the magazine has an article about X, whatever it is, let's just say even a recipe, and there's like a gourmet food recipe in there. Maybe in your email and your phone calls, you are communicating to the people receiving this to go, hey, whoever makes that recipe, that cool Cajun recipe on whatever that it was, and post it up and tags us, we're going to pick one just at random and give a gift card of X. Well, now you're stimulating engagement, because now people are going, ooh, and then what you do is you announce it. You're like, hey, congrats to Betty, who posted up the great picture of, in fact, she had her, puppy in the background. Hey, extra points, bonus points for that. So now you're stimulating an activity that you want to have done. And in fact, it kind of reminds me of something I was literally last night rereading for about the third time this book. Have you ever read the book called Whale Done?
No, I haven't.
Really good book. It's not well done, it's whale done, and you'll know why, because it's one of those fictional storybook examples of this business executive that goes to SeaWorld and watches the show about Shamu, and then he talks to the trainer and goes, hey, how do you train those big animals to do all those tricks? Do you zap them? Do you starve them? And they're like, no. We reward behavior we want to see done again. So when the whale like swims this, we reward that. And the point is, he then turned that into, now that's how I can motivate my clients, my staff, my employees to do the things I want, and then coach them on if they're doing things wrong. The point is, maybe in some of those calls to your clients talking about the magazine, don't just have them leave it on their table. Find ways to create little fun contest or engagement points so that they're consuming that. And then the next time it comes out, they're like, ooh, I wonder what Luke's going to do this one. So the motivation there would be, keep it fun, keep it interesting, and then make that part of your whole engagement campaign.
I love that. And it's such a great way to trigger engagement through your database. Another tactic I would give people is make sure you're doing the work for your clients, making it easy for them, right? Yeah. So if you want reviews and you want them to write reviews about you and post it on sites, make it easy for them to access that site, make it easy for them to understand what type of review you're looking for. The same applies for like referrals. So if you're a financial advisor and I'm in your book of business and I'm Luke Acree, the business owner of ReminderMedia, and you're my advisor, you already know there's a couple segmentations that you can get out of me. Luke has an accountant, So who's his accounting firm? Luke probably has a lawyer for his business. Who's his lawyer that he's working with? Luke probably knows other business owners in his space synergistically that he could refer you to. If you prod Luke's mind by giving him those segments, it really helps flourish my idea of giving you referrals. Now I know who you're looking for. The same applies if you have a doctor. If you have a doctor in your book of business, who are the other doctors at that practice that maybe you could get an intro to? Maybe you could send the magazine, feature the doctor on the back of your magazine, send it to their waiting room. It's a perfect intro to get introduced to those other doctors. The same applies for lawyers. There's so many different creative ideas that you can tactically look at your list and go, where are the natural 6 degrees of separation to this client that could connect me to the next client that I have?
100%. And you know what you find is if you're focusing on that kind of engagement and tactics like we're mentioning, and I'll bet you that if we put our heads together, Luke, we can come up with 3 or 4 more cool things that people would be like, oh, that would be fun. Well, it's all centered around a marketing relationship building technique, which is the branded magazine, that stands out because it's not a Facebook bot, it's not a message, it's not the whatever else. Now, I will say that we could probably, again, talk about 3 more hours on how do you now amplify that and go omnipresent and focus on your target audience who are getting these magazines by having some social media and email and all of those different things. So we've got the kinesthetic touching aspect of the magazine, and then you got the phone call. So now we've got auditory. Well, now what about the visual? How can they see you? Well, yeah, visual, you can see the magazine. But I think that that's what we need to focus on, is that when you have built that know, like, and trust with those clients of yours and you're doing the good job, it becomes easy to get referrals, repeat business, all of that. So I think that this is such an elegant way to stay in touch with people. And the cool thing is, we don't even need to talk about the fact that you're not licking stamps. And this is all ReminderMedia going, oh, just send us your list and we got you covered. It's done. We're doing it all. It's automated and it's done for you. And to me, that's the icing on the cake.
Yep. No, that's our key. Our key is we want to be able to step in, automate it for people, keep you consistent so you can focus on one thing and one thing alone, and that's your clients. Yep. Don't worry about what you're sending them. Let us worry about that for you. Don't worry about it going out. The customization, we can do it all for you. And you just worry about actually shaking their hands, making sure you're having conversations with them, making sure you're delivering value so they can give you referrals and rave about you.
Awesome. Well, Luke, it's been a pleasure having you on. Give us a good link that you would point people to learn more about the program and how it could benefit their business and building their relationships.
Absolutely. It's been awesome. So you can go to www.remindermedia.com. So remindermedia.com, you can find out all about what we do.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show today. It's been a real pleasure.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.